to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. What has been clothed to Kenyans as a free and fair election is a charade that if this country is celebrating it, then I can tell you it is an affront on our democracy. And in fact, straight, I want to tell you how Dennis Itumbi specific, working with his cartels, have robbed Kenyans the Embu vote. Make sure you watch this podcast. These are things that some people fear saying. But because I have my data here and I have my evidence here, I'm going to show you that. So that before you celebrate, you understand what exactly happened in those by-elections. But before you go there, guys, I want to take a bit of your time, just 1 minute, to remind you that I'm shooting this video in Kilifi. I'm currently in Kilifi to put up a house for a widowed mother of 6 here in Gongoni. And we visited, we came. She has gone through troubles. She still lost the husband, came from the streets. And when we visited her, this was the condition of her house. She's staying in a very, very sorry state. And we are here, guys, to put up a house for her. Find it in your own evolution to sacrifice something to support us achieve this. We have a huge budget of around 300,000, but as I talk to you, I already have 45,000. So from tomorrow, I'm sending David and the team. They are going to start the construction tomorrow. Please send in what you have.
Ukishuku kwa muda gani?
Tangu mwaka wa corona.
Na vile ipo sasa kukinyesha mambo iko vipi?
Kwa nanyesha paka huko ndani.
Maana nimeona mkaika hii.
Mkaika hii karatasi kwa sababu ya watoto wasio.
Watoto wadogo. Changamoto nyingine labda ipo kwa hii nyumba vile ipo?
Changamoto ni hiyo makuti, sababu ya makuti. Ndio sina nafasi sina fedha ya kununua makuti
Tukikujengea itasaidia sana kuzuia haya yote.
Mkinijengea itakuwa vizuri zaidi.
Sacrifice what you can sacrifice so that you partner with us to achieve this objective. Without much ado, I'm seeing social media awash with information on how Newton Karish has won, or rather has lost, by some 400,000 votes against Leonard Mudende in Mbeere. I am convinced that Karish, what has happened there is robbery, if that is it. When the voting closed at 5 p.m., counting and the tallying started. So there is an IBC portal where official results are posted. By this time I'm shooting this video, ni saa 5:30 usiku Kenyan time. If you check the IEBC portal, all the 134 from 34 A's were yet to be uploaded there. Remember, IBC will upload verified data. UDA, through their social media guy, their IT guy, Dennis Itumbi, came up with some portal. And this is what I want you to look at. This is the UDA portal. This portal, allegedly, if you check it, iko results. Almost all the results. And if you check Embu, they uploaded 134 out of 134 results. Ukiona hapa. So this one, they captured all the areas whereby elections were happening except Ugenya, Ugunja, and Magarini. If you click the Embu one, according to this portal, and let me tell you, this is the portal that has been used by the team, the UDA team, to congratulate their candidate. And even Kenyans, this is the screenshot that they take and shared with people. And they did that to show you that their candidate had won. And I want you to look at it. According to their data, wao wameshahesabu 134 from 34As verified. According to them, Leonard Muthenge has 15,819 against Newton Kariuki Ndwiga at 15,417. And according to their data by Yao, UDA, Muthenge has won against Karish by only 417 votes. Looks a very consistent pattern. If you check IBC, how they publish this information. Now let me tell you, this is the information, this is the screenshot that you may grab. If you check your WhatsApp, this is the screenshot you may grab, wakawa share, and they've been running psychological messaging to celebrate and announce the candidate a winner. I want to take you to Kakamega. In Kakamega, according to them, out of 222 from 34As, that is the form from the polling station, that collected 193. And the results were that Ndakwa has received 23,099 against Seth Panyako at 21,573. This is the same results they've plucked, shared with the country, and told the country they won. I want to show you some inconsistency. Ukiangalia ile result ya Embu, I want us to go back to Embu. I want us to go back to Embu. And I want you to look at some inconsistencies. By the way, this is Elijah K. Samuel saying, don't rely on so much on the online tallying center. IBC has final say. I decided at some point to get into system by one political team, and below are some of the inconsistencies. Look at the turnout in the first two sessions. Gangara Primary School 2, according to hii imetoka kutoka kwa hiyo portal ya Itumbi. According to them, the turnout is 136%, which means out of 641 people registered, 461 people has voted. Okay, 641 people voted against a registered number of 469. Look at that charade. Sianyi Primary School, the turnout is 130%, meaning that 521 people voted against 400 people who are registered. Let's continue. Mugwa Njogu Primary School 1, check the percentages. 22, 62, which is 75.6%, 19, 23, Newton Karish got 0%. Is it practical? Total votes are actually 82. Aya. I want you to check another one. Total votes 255. Newton Ndwiga 122 at 47%, 90 at 35.3%, 16.1%, and 1 percentages. You can see some inconsistencies in all this. Now, according to the same results, just some few minutes as I was doing, this is from IBC. Si huko naambiwa Muthenge amepata 15,417. Out of Mbeere North, Muthenge UDA 15,562. Mbui, this is the chama cha the Moses Kuria candidate, 2,280, and Karish 15,461. imepita hata ile, and as this is here reporting, out of 134 polling stations from 34 Bs, 130 had reported, 4 were still missing, na alikuwa memshinda na 121 votes. They've made it look tight. This is what has been shared, and Wanjiku has been taken into celebration to be told that probably they have won that election. Guys, I want you to look at the Facebook page of JB Muturi. There is some interesting information that I want you to gather from there. I think this is a big criminality that I know we will want to say, want to create the abracadabra, and this is a very good, if the country is not very serious, this is the template on how election will always be rigged in this country if Kenya Kwanza gets away with this kind of charade. There is a statement, a revelation from Muturi. Look at this. So according to UDA, Honorable Newton Kariuki Ndiga got 141 votes in Kanyuambora, yet from 34A clearly shows 236 votes. Wachani Porojo za social media, and he has shared it. This is Kanyuambora, 141 votes. And then there is this from here, 136. That has now been reported. Now, what am I saying? A psychological game was played to unleash the UDA candidates as early winners. And I'm so thinking that probably that was to create the celebration, to gratify the masses. And you can see all the leaders have been posting. I'm just wondering, a governor, check Facebook page, Cecil Mbeere, a sitting governor who is the UDA chairperson is already congratulating a UDA candidate to have won that seat. Na hata as we talk, the results are not even yet out. IBC has not even announced. Check Facebook page ya Farouk Kibet. Farouk Kibet declared Panyako the winner by 8 p.m. before even IBC unleashed the results. And someone is telling you, we had a free and fair election. I am convinced beyond any reasonable doubt, Karish won that seat. I'm convinced Karish won that seat. I'm convinced Panyako won Malava. Cards have been played. Why? Malava and Mbeere were a matter of life and death for Kenya Kwanza. And the regime main reason is because they are not the majority. And they are going to lose this. If the KK were to lose these seats, the deep fear in government is that it will both cement the position as the majority, as well as more stuck in the reality of decline of the UDA. And someone is forcefully staging popularity of the UDA party. I don't think that is it. And to demonstrate to you that the regime is very unpopular, Eric Wekesa, who is an independent candidate, defeated Maunda, a Ford Kenya candidate in Chwele Kabuchai. This Chwele Kabuchai, hapa ndio Natembea alikuwa napigwa. Hapa, this is in this by-election, the only senior most leader who voted in this Chwele Kabuchai by-election is Moses Masika Wetangula. In his own ward, leave alone constituency, Moses Masika Wetangula voted in Kabuchai ward. That is his own ward. He lost to an independent candidate. And then you're saying, probably is right. And he won by a very big margin. Kisa ward, this is in Huisero, Huisero, Kisa ward is in Huisero constituency. This is the constituency of Atwoli. The MP is someone called Christopher Seka. Christopher Seka, the by-election there has been won by DCP, a candidate known as Dickson Adoda Okwiri, Kisa East. That is in Kakamega. That is the MP, that by-election was occasioned by the fact that Stephen Maloba, who was the KANU MC elected on KANU ticket, was stabbed at a political rally. Yeah, Christopher Seka, the MP, was elected on ODM ticket. ODM had a candidate, MDG had a candidate. DCP won there. Then, look at Upa. Ekerenyo, Nyamaiya, and Nyansiongo all went on Upa and PDP. Japhet Nyakundi and Osoro were the ones leading UDA campaigns in Nyamira. They lost. DCP is in the verge of winning Kariobangi North and Narok Town. Ladies and gentlemen, the public has been duped after what I can convincingly say is a well-coordinated voter rigging. And, oh my goodness, I'm on Raila. Sometimes I agree with a friend who called me and told me, Kevin, Raila went to broad-based kwa sababu aliangalia akaona hawa watu hatawezana nao. I think I agree. Someone wants to stage some comfort that I've regained Mount Kenya, and you've staged, it was so tight that you even had to state that you've lost by only 400,000, by only 400 votes. But you want to shout to the whole country, they have gotten Mount Kenya, have gotten Mbeere. Look at the amount of money that was splashed. Look at the kind of violence that was put in Malava. Gari ya Eugene Wamalwa ikachomwa. Look at how hotel belonging to Panyako was even attacked. Look at how Kina Livondo staged scripts of how people and goons there. Look at the amount of money that was splashed in Mbeere. Are we going to splash all that campaign in the 290 constituencies? Are we? I'm not seeing something to celebrate. And I'm a bit disappointed because what I was expecting, I said my interest in this election was not on who wins, on who becomes the MP, but on the leadership of the people. And I was not convinced that Mbeere elected Wamudende with that kind of record. Remember this Wamudende, EACC released a report that he should be prosecuted for that oxygen plant at Kenyatta National Hospital, that money got lost. Politics of suppressing opposition through state machinery are badly exposed. I'm seeing people saying Rigathi has lost. Guys, Rigathi's party has not lost. Opposition has not lost. It is this country that has lost a journey to free and fair and transparent election. It is not opposition which has lost. And if you're sitting somewhere celebrating, you're getting it wrong. The country has lost transparency of election. A stab in the back of late Raila Odinga, something that Raila fought for. That secret tallying center by Dennis Itumbi that has been used to circulate and tell the voters and cook results on who and who has won is a criminal enterprise that I want to believe IEBC need to criminalize it. Someone needs to be sent beyond bias. I have some take homes from this by-election. The village folks are falling for state inducements away from the sloganeering messages, the two-term and the one-term. Someone need to talk to the village fact about some real facts. Because people are given money, relief food, state appointments thrown in the rallies, the way we saw what Mudavadi was doing to the son of Maluli Njendi. And people have narrowly been told to choose. It is easy to choose between 2-term and 1-term if what is on your way is some little money. Yes. The sloganeering is not enough. The village folks are listening to their stomach. And why am I saying that? When I looked at the queue, I did not see the young people in the queue. So the political class must do a lot to inspire the young people to turn out and vote. I did not see them. Is there an expectation that general election that will change? And why am I saying there is a systematic suppression of that demographic? I was wondering, some of bloggers that sprouted, the names that emerged after Gen Z protests like in a Casmuel, they're now inclined within the UDM party. There are some that are now coalescing around some presidential candidates. I did not hear their voice asking the young people to come out and vote. I did not hear them. I did not see awareness by the IBC. By the way, we are doing project Matunajenga yule mama. They don't even know their MP. Nilikuwa nawauliza MP wenyu nani hata hawajui. I have realized just from this by election, tokenism is a vote manipulation tool, and it is the greatest challenge to the democracy of a country. Why? This country has been milked. Wanjiku has been milked, and he or she is now vulnerable. Is falling for any shilling that is going to be thrown on her way. The votes, I'm not even convinced that 15,000 people voted for a UDA candidate. I'm not convinced. But one thing I know is that there are quite a number that voted. Interestingly, Embu had the largest turnout in terms of those constituencies. That's something very encouraging. And because of that turnout, I am not convinced that 15,000 people voted for the UDA candidate Wamudende. Wetangula political base losing in his ward to an independent candidate means that independent candidate first is aligned towards Natembeya. And it only means that his base is under threat. And he can choose to ignore Natembeya, but Natembeya is a force to reckon with. ODM voter turnout remains a big problem. Ugunja recorded less than 30% voter turnout. And Ugunja is the headquarters of Broad-Based. Amongst the constituencies where they're directly linked to Broad-Based is Ugunja. Mbadi is from Suba North. There was no by-election in Suba North. I want you to see the turnout in Mbeere North, 62%, more than 50%. It's another by-election that has been triggered by Broad-Based cabinet picks. Wandai was picked as part of the Broad-Based, and from that base, more than 30% cannot turn up to vote. Something is wrong. I can see presence of opposition voices in the community is there. The United Opposition just formed the other day. But I agree with someone who is saying this. No nation climbs to first-class standards while its most sacred democratic exercise is stained by coercion, manipulation, state-enabled disorder. When security forces morph into political tools and hired thugs, become part of the electoral machinery, the system isn't just broken, it is poisoned. How can I claim I saw Panyako crying, hotel attacked, cars burned, people beaten, people are in hospitals? I saw the kind of brutality that happened in Malava, and there is little to admire. I don't even know how people are celebrating it. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand with my position. The only places where I knew there's sympathy in Kasipul and Ugenya and Magarini, Raila sympathy, and there was no way ODM was going to struggle in those elections, probably. But Malava and Mbeere, from my bold standpoint, those two seats have been rigged. And it was rigged both sides. Remember, ilipoanza, hata Panyako na Karish ndio walikuwa mbele. Somewhere in the middle, someone started coming up with sharing portal screenshot. And akatoa mpaka shapata results asha publish. Well, IBC has not released the results. When you check the UDA portal results and feed from IBC, there are inconsistencies. And then you look at the gap between Karish and Mudende, you can clearly see that vote has been rigged. And it is not opposition that has lost. It is not Rigathi Gachagua that has lost. The country has lost an opportunity. The country has lost the fight to free, fair, and transparent elections. It will be interesting to see how this goes. Thank you, guys.